What's going on, everybody? My name is Justin Godsey for the Justin Godsey Podcast. Thank you so much for checking out tonight's video. We are about 24 hours removed from a trade that sent Addison Reed to the Chicago Cubs in exchange for Jeff Samardzija and also Jason Hamill. But we are one day later, and we are here talking about another trade that went down involving the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And this is a deal that was rumored to be going down late Friday night. Now, there is interest in Joe Thatcher from the LA Angels. They're looking to, restock their bullpen. Or they originally traded Ernesto Frieri, their once closer, setup man, over to the Pittsburgh Pirates in exchange for Jason Grilli. And I really like this. I really like that move. Both closers were having, a big, bump in the road in their careers. And, Jason Grilli, coming off a very successful season last year, came into the 2014 season very under par. A lot of, disappointments coming from Jason Grilli. They removed him as the team's closer and they were trying to move on from him. And, Mark Melanson was really doing a great job, serving as, a setup man for the longest time in Pittsburgh. They gave him the closer's role, and, that ended up, being Jason Grilli's, last straw with the team. So they ended up trading him over to the LA Angels for Ernesto Frieri, who has the ability to go into the later innings and everything. So the LA Angels are trying to restack up on their bullpen a whole lot, and it's really understandable because this is a team who has really rebounded for having a handful of disappointing seasons the past 3 years. A lot of people were expecting a lot of big things with Albert Pujols coming in, Mike Trout fully developed, and he's the next best thing in Major League Baseball right now. They got Eric Ibar, David Freese, who they got. So this team did a really great job, stacking up. And they're having a winning season this year. Hopefully that they can continue on and finally make the playoffs with who they have. Pujols needs to get going. Trout's continuing to do great. But you know what? Their biggest thing is just trying to stack up on a bullpen, which now has Joe Smith as their closer. And they really need to get some more bodies into this bullpen right now. And what they did is they went out and grabbed Joe Thatcher. Now, it was rumored to be that Joe Thatcher was going to be on the trade bubble for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So the Arizona Diamondbacks is a very interesting team this year. A complete, disappointment, I would like to say, because when you really look at the Arizona Diamondbacks before the season started, they have an overall very solid team. They had Cody Ross, Mark Trumbo, Paul Goldschmidt's there, and you got Martin Prado, who's coming off of a great season last year, and everybody was thinking the best from him. You also got Charles Brewer, such a great talented rotation, but a handful of injuries went down. They lost David Hernandez, Patrick Corbin, and the list just keep on going on and on. So what they did is they last year they were trying to restock on their bullpen. Their bullpen has cost them a whole lot of games this year, whether it's Addison Reed blowing a couple of games here and there, or it's the rest of the bullpen not living up to the expectations and completely blowing the games out. So they got Joe Thatcher last year in a trade, and he's an overall very solid pitcher. I like Joe Thatcher this year. He has not been used a whole lot, to be honest with you. When you really look at it, yeah, he has appeared in 37 games, but you know what? It seems like the Diamondbacks are always going with guys like Randall Delgado, and that's pretty much who you really see. Because I watched the Diamondbacks a whole lot, and I think Joe Thatcher was a little bit underutilized here in Arizona. We were about a handful of games in, and he's only pitched in 37 games. He has an excellent ERA. He's very effective this year. He's 1-0 with the 2.63 ERA, and that's going to benefit him, going over to the LA Angels. Now, I've always seen him as a potential closer, but you know what? With the current situation out there in LA, it's going to be really tough for Joe Thatcher to lay down the closer's role, because you do have an excellent bullpen, which consists of Joe Smith, Jason Grilli, who else they got there? Moore and Jepson and Rasmus. So, it's a really tough, forte going out there in the bullpen for the LA Angels. So Joe Thatcher is going to be heading over there, likely to continue to have the role what he had with Arizona, and that's the setup man. Or if you want to put him as a late inning reliever, being a late inning reliever is going to give him a much better opportunity to get more innings underneath his belt, and that's going to turn out to be good for them going down the line. But not only is the LA Angels going to get Joe Thatcher, they also acquired Tony Campana. I'm a big fan of Tony Campana. For a lot of people who do not know much about me, I speak highly of Tony Campana. I've seen him play just a handful of times when he spent pretty much half a season here in Arizona. He's a very fast guy. He can hit pretty good with he's an average hitter. He's not going to wow you with his power or anything. He's fast on the base path. That's pretty much what you're getting out of him. Now the LA Angels, they could use some depth in the outfield position. You got Hamilton in left, you got Trout in center, you got Cole Calhoun, an Arizona State native, go Sun Devils. rivals, and they really needed some depth. So they have Colin Cowgill as their primary backup, and then from there it's there's that's all who they have in the outfield. So Tony Campana, he has had this kind of a season where he will be up for a few games with the Diamondbacks, get sent back down to AAA Reno Aces, and it's just pretty much flip flopping from top to bottom, top to bottom, top to bottom, from the MLB to AAA, and going to the Angels, he's going to get the opportunity, I think, now right away. I think that with the kind of performance Colin Cowgill is surprisingly having right now, I'm very surprised that he's being very effective with the LA Angels right now, and he's really performing over par, which I like to say, and he's doing overall great. So he's a great backup for these starters out in the outfield, and Tony Campana will get an opportunity to start, whether it's after the All-Star break, or once the rosters extend. I think it's going to be not going to be taking that long till we see Campana up with the Angels, but he'll get some starting time. Probably on like a Sunday or so. You can expect him to get a start here and there, but not frequently, because you don't want to replace any of these starters out there. But Campana does have great speed, and that's pretty much what he's pretty much utilized for. He's being a pinch runner and everything like that. So that's a great addition to be along with Joe Thatcher. But in the Arizona Diamondbacks, we're going to be going back over the Diamondbacks here, and what they got in return is pretty much not the most greatest of prospects. I don't like to disrespect them, but these are prospects that are going to sit down in the farm system for a few more years and develop. They got Zach Borenstein, who is an outfielder, and Joey Craybill. If I'm saying this right, please, if I'm saying it wrong, please correct me down in the comment section below. Craybill is actually a pitcher. He's going to be sent to Class A Visalia Rawhide, and I like Visalia a whole lot. I do listen to a lot of their games. I'm a big minor league baseball buff. For a lot of people who do not know much about me, minor league baseball is one of my favorite things to talk about, because prospects are the way of the future for Major League Baseball. And Joey Craybill, I saw some highlights before coming on here. He packs a mean punch. He spent time, with Burlington. Now he's going to be going to Visalia. So it's going to be very interesting. He spent, this entire season, with two teams, with Burlington and I think is Inland. I think that's another the farm system for the LA Angels. So, they're getting an excellent pitcher for him. He's not going to be a guy who's going to be called up, within the next, year or so. It's going to take some more time for him, because he still has to get, fully developed and get really, acquainted with the kind of, game they play, at Visalia. Then he has to climb through the rankings. So, he's going to be a guy who can possibly get, a call up in maybe about 3 or 4 years. And like I said, he's still a very young pitcher. He's still, he has the future ahead of him. Now, Zach Borenstein, I have heard a lot about him. Now, he was drafted by the LA Angels in the 2011 draft in the 23rd round, and I saw him play first time face to face. I saw him play for the Arizona Fall League. I was really impressed with what he got. He's a great defensive player. He has, that pop a little bit, but he's pretty much going to be giving you that average. He's not going to hit you like a solid, 18 or 19 home runs a year from an outfielder. I mean, you're all about speed. Outfielders are all about speed, and average. That's what you're getting out of Zach Borenstein. So, pretty much the Arizona Diamondbacks are a team that's going into that rebuilding phase. I still think the Arizona Diamondbacks are still going to go out there and trade a couple more players. I think guys like Miguel Montero, Randall Delgado, Trevor Cahill's another possibility. He's been down at AAA Reno for a while now, and a lot of people are like, are they going to trade him? Are they going to trade him? I think they're going to trade him, because if I'm Trevor Cahill, I would not want to be down at AAA for the rest of the year. And he got bumped around there down at AAA in his last start. But you know what? I still think the team is going to try to find a way to trade Trevor Cahill, who's a legitimate starter. Yeah, he had a big bump in the road, but you know what? The Arizona Diamondbacks are like the Chicago Cubs. The run support is not constant, and they really need it. And the Arizona Diamondbacks will have these games where they can score 13 runs. We saw that the other day against the Pirates, and then you'll see the other days will score 1 or 2 runs in 9 innings of baseball. So this team is pretty much in that rebuilding phase again. You got to get a little bit much more younger, move on from guys like those veteran guys like Miguel Montero, who's getting up there at age. You got Tuffy Gozwich. You also got to move on from Cody Ross, you got David Peralta, you also have Roger Kieschnick. So this team is really, set up in the outfield. I think Cody Ross could be the likely man out of Arizona when you really look at it. So overall, guys, the LA Angels have acquired Joe Thatcher, Tony Campana for, Joey Craybill and Nick or Zach Borenstein. I don't know why I said Nick there for a second. I have another tab open because I'm making another video. It's going to be involving Nick Green. So I hope you guys do enjoy this video. I'm sorry for that little miscue right there with the name. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I'm Justin Godsey for the Justin Godsey Podcast, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.